first turn for the Americans. No, Allies. Technically Allies, but it's an American show, really. I checked for supply. Everything's okay for that. No first movement. Straight to combat. Now, this is the one thing that I think people don't realise about this game is that the Americans can move by attacking at very low odds. There's no penalty that would cause you to lose a unit at the low end of the combat results table, and you can move up to 3 hexes, so as a retreat. So it's always worth trying. So the first attack is going to be 14th Cav here, and it's actually attacking 11, which is 1 to 3, but that's lower than the minimum. The minimum is 1 to 2, so it becomes 1 to 2. I roll a 5, which is AR 3. And following 1, 2, 3. Now, the nature of Vassal is that I don't do the advances for you. This is the problem with multi-interactive phases in games, and especially is with retreat and advance after combat. It's not for me to do the advance for him. That he will look at the whole thing with his tactical eye and decide whether he needs to advance. I've just got to make a point of saying that, and he can make that decision in his turn. Though sometimes the circumstances change and it's not really. It just leads to some very nasty problems. Allied mech movement phase. So that was the end of the combat. That was the only combat I did. And the mech movement phase. Right. So straight away, I've got to try and get this guy. I don't want to put him on this side. He could do it. 1, 2, 3, 7, 11, 12. But if I do that, all these guys will pile on and surround him. That's not helpful. So what I'll do is I'll just leave him there. I've just consigned him to the fact that he's going to exist in a pocket here for some time unless the Germans decide to collapse the pocket. Effectively out of the game. So the next piece I move is this one. And what I'm doing with him is I'm putting him in Bastogne. I figure that the victory points for these hexes are gathered by the Germans occupying Bastogne. And then the other thing to consider is that Bastogne is a major road network, so it'll have supply implications for the Germans. All right, and historical reasons. And the reason why I'm doing that is because we are aware, both of us, because this is part of a run-through, that these hexes will be blocked. And the solution that Hugh suggests that we try is that he can do a trap and leave these hexes unclaimed, and by doing that, any reinforcements on the southeast corner have to come in there. They can't come in for the blocked hexes, but they have to come in for the clear. And that's the rules. But what he says, and I think I agree with him, well, mostly agree with him, is that these units should wait one turn and then they can come on in the next area, which is the southwest. My personal preference now is that bringing him on one turn later is part of the game breaking, because by that stage it's too late. So maybe bring them on if they have. If you can bring them on, if you can't bring them on the southeast, you have maybe two hexes, two entry points on either side of the zone that you're bringing it on to bring them in. So if all these hexes were blocked and that hex was free, rather than bringing it in there, you could choose to bring it on within the two entry hexes of the next zone. Alright, but what we decide on is that we'll bring it on the next turn. So this guy's now moving, and he moves to a point where he's just covering roads. Even though I haven't got a line here, these two hexes which are impassable are sort of helping me cover. So one unit there, and nothing can go through there, and that's a solid line. I still have a problem though with this, but I can't solve that. So that's the American turn, first turn done. Alright. So this is the second turn for the Germans, and this is when the whole thing starts to fall apart for the Allies. He places his 210. And he drops his Van der Height parachute and Tross points. He rolls for it, and it doesn't survive. Thank God. Okay, we start the movement phase. So we'll start here. 4, 5, 6, 7. He's not sure what he's doing. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there he is. This is Panzer, the 116th Panzer Division, and it's presenting a massive problem for the Allies already. These bridges, even though we don't have interdiction markers on them, these bridges are considered interdicted. So 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 6 is 10. That's as far as that guy can move. He's found a ford. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and the ford is 4. So down here now. And this is the part that we should watch. This is where it gets busy. There is nothing interdicting these bridges now, so he can use those freely. He's winding it back and he's having a think. back in the center. Okay, first up is the attack on the 3-4 in hex 1713. So that one is there. So he's got 2 Panzer units against 3. It's deemed to be 1, 2, 3. It's isolated. Yep, you put an isolated figure on it just in the end, but isolated means it's completely surrounded by zones of control of enemy units, and it's more than 3 hexes from a supplied unit, which is what was happening in that case. And if it's isolated, it's then halved for defense, rounded up. Okay. And it's important to note that he only attacked with that unit against there, so it was 2 to 1, leaving this one still free to move in the next turn. Take that back. Okay. So now this attack here, 8 to 4, it's 2 to 1, gives DR1. He advances the 310, and in doing so isolates this guy. He'll only attack that with, well, he's not actually isolated, he's out of supply. And he will attack with that guy against that, so that's 2 to 1. Rolls a 2, can't retreat, so it's eliminated. And because these two weren't involved in the attack, they're now free to move in the next turn. Okay, now he's down near St. Vith again. Sorry, 1406. 1406, so this one here. He's hitting it with 6. 1, 2, 3, it's isolated. Oh, he's only hitting it with these 2. DR1, so it can retreat only onto the other unit, so he does that. But because it's now on the other unit, it can't be used in the defense of the hex for the next attack. So only the 2 infantry units are attacking, and the 510's not participating. So this is now 4 to 2. It's 2 to 1. Both units eliminated. So now he goes on to the mech phase, and you're starting to see how the position unravels here for the Americans. So this is the area of interest for the game. He's going to do some work here. So he's surrounding this, and at the same time securing or trying to secure possible crossovers here. Captures the town. As I said, towns are really good for defensive positions because they're hard to make units retreat out of. He's going to try for Stavelo, and he rethinks it. He's decided that Vilsum is probably as far as he wants to go. Houffles is now captured, and he now starts to move units in on Saint-Vith. Saint-Vith. This is an important defensive hex, and it very rarely gets used, unfortunately, because, as you see, he only got a DR1. And he needed a DR2, but now he can isolate that unit. He's also captured Wilts. And here we are, blocking. This is considered blocking the entry hexes. And he's just checking that we're playing with the revised errata, which allows, because at the moment my next turn reinforcements can come on here, and that won't help any. And that's what he observes. If I come in there, he reckons it's a game over, and I'm agreeing with him. Okay, so now the American turn. This is game turn 2. As you can see, southeast, locked down. He's left a trap, but with an agreed rule, which would force me to put in the reinforcements on the due on this edge of the map into here, where they can be easily controlled and managed. But we've agreed on a rule change that would allow me to bring them on next turn there. That being said, I'm pretty sure that's not the answer to the problem with this game. So the Allies place their reinforcements. And down here there's 10th Panzer Division, 10th Armoured Division, Panzer. Well, George Patton. Now, I've opted to, at this stage, to put interdiction markers in, because what the rules say is that when the interdiction happens, it persists for the entire turn, even though the position of the interdicting units may change. I've also put in the wrong interdiction markers. What I should be doing is I should be putting in interdiction markers for the Germans, so that I know which bridges I can't cross. For some reason I've started doing it with the Americans, as you can see. And then I realise it's not the Americans, it's It's the Germans that have their interdiction markers placed. Supply has been determined. He's not surrounded by zones of control. He's within 3 hexes of a supplied unit, so he's unsupplied. He's not isolated. Unsupplied means he gets his full defense strength, but only half his combat strength. Still placing interdiction markers. Okay, so we come to the American movement phase. So first thing I've got to try and do is I've got to try and cover some of these bridges. So that's I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's an illegal move by me. I've miscalculated it. This one here. I need to get these guys up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's supposed to flip, but there you go. As you can see, I'm doing a lot of hex counting, trying to work out where best to place these units. Okay, so now these units are removed. The obligation is removed from them to come on this part of the map. They can now move on to this part of the map in the next turn. Okay, and I think we're all covered. So now the combat phase. All the unsupplied units are marked as unsupplied. Him, him, and him. Him, and him. And 14th Cav, which is this guy here, is going to attack at 1 to 2. Rolls a 1. EIR 1. Now, Hugh picks this up. That's not a legal move because that bridge would have been interdicted and I hadn't covered it. It could only move to there. We'll leave it there for the time being because I think it gets corrected. The next attack is this gentleman here attacks here. That's a 1 to 1, but I'll drop it again to 1 to 2. Again, what I'm looking for is to get a big retreat so I can get some movement happening. And I get an AR3. Next attack is here. So this is 4 halved because it's unsupplied, which is 2, which is 1 attacking the unit here, so that's 1 to 3, but there is no 1 to 3, so the minimum odds are 1 to 2, so it moves to 1 to 2. 5, another AR3. and just trying to work out which one which way it's going to stay, where it's going to go. So now combat's done. Let's have a look at the mech move. Straight away, I'm going to move these reinforcements up here. The mech units. That, I think, also was an illegal move. I think 6. I'll just check that. 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, it's fine. Right, so that one next. 6, 7, 8. I'm obviously trying to work stuff out. Alright, so that's the final configuration. Those are the final positions. And that's it for the turn. This one could have moved, it hasn't moved. These guys are yet to come on. This guy is still holding Bastogne and won't move. He's holding Monchou, so that's, and this guy's unsupplied and can't. This guy's unsupplied and can't move. All right. This is a German turn for game turn 3, and this is pretty well a game over as far as I'm concerned. Hugh's going to correct some unit positions. He places his reinforcements on the map, which constitutes one assault brigade. He places his unsupplied markers. And starts moving. He started the process of surrounding the frontline troops now. Oh. So the first combat becomes 10-9, 10-9, 10-9 there. surrounded, so it's eliminated. There's no advance. He's only used 2 units to attack it. Next he's attacking St. Vith. Gets a DE. Okay. So the next attack is he's attacking here. He's unsupplied, so it's 2 to 3, which is 1 to 2. And he retreats with an AR1. Then the next attack is 2-3-1-2, which is here. And isolated, so he's only going to attack with the infantry at 2 to 1. So 1 unit is eliminated because it can't retreat. He hasn't used the army unit, so that's free to move in the mech phase. And only this guy is attacking the wilts. Now cleverly he's not using this one. This one has covered the retreat. Okay, so this guy is attacking this guy. He's isolated. This guy covers the zone of control there. This guy covers that one, and this one's got those covered. So isolated, so 4 to 1, 8 to 1. No, it's rounded up, so it's still going to be 4 to 1, but he's dropping the odds to 2 to 1. And 5, and he gets the retreat, so it's dead. And then down here. So DR1, which means that it retreats off the map. Now, when a unit is retreated off the map in most games, it's destroyed. It's rendered hors de combat. But in this game, you retreat off the map. You see these blue hexagons here, basically are sort of like a sort of a free zone, and the unit retreats. The American unit retreats, and it's only the American unit retreats and stays there. And it can only come back on when another American unit moves adjacent to it on the map, in which case that guy is released and he can come back onto the map. It's not likely to happen. Okay, so the mech phase now starts. He's moving these guys down here to have a go at this. And now he's just blocking everything. Alright, and that's where I basically stopped. Let's have a look at it. Bastogne, isolated. What do I get in terms of reinforcements this turn? I get, interestingly, 2 airborne divisions, but the trouble is they can never get into the action because the only road that they can come down will be this one, and they won't be able to cross the rivers. They can't come down this way. They can't cover the flank. These guys can come on, but again, they're in danger of being overrun unless they come right back up here and come down with the parachute brigade, which is probably what I would do. The airborne divisions. I've got nothing in the centre, no reinforcements coming on this side for another 2 turns. These reinforcements are coming in too late to make a difference to this, and this is essentially the problem of the game. Too many American units get destroyed. Way too many American units. Let's have a look. There are 12 units have been destroyed, and I have picked up probably about 8. So my net loss is 4. I'm going to lose probably 1, 2, 3 and 4, another 4 units this turn. So I'm down now 16 units with a net gain of about 10 or 11 or 12, something like that. I'll count him as a loss, so that's another one. There's too much to cover, and there's no way to get there. These guys can come on, be moved back down to normal transport mode, but they can't do anything much. So yeah, I think Hugh found a way to break the game, and it happened in the very first turn when he managed to get all this cleared and 2 or 3 units across here, and I think this was the crucial one, that retreat there. That if that had been allowed to retreat that way, it would have meant that these units couldn't come further than that hex, and because of that, it would have allowed the Americans to come around here and block, and at the same time interdict this bridge. So I don't know. I think allowing the Americans to avoid the hex entry trap down here by letting them move up here doesn't actually change anything, because it means that 3 vital units that should be used for the defense are not available for another turn, and the German attack is already developed and gone ballistic down here. So yeah, look, I remember liking this game a lot when I played it, 30 years ago, but I don't think this is sustainable as a game. I've got to say, the Battle of the Bulge is just full in wargame terms with hundreds and, well, maybe not hundreds, but a lot of Bulge games. I don't know. I have played a number of them. I have a number that I haven't played. Maybe I can get the curmudgeons talking and we can do one. But their attitude to the Bulge is much the same as Normandy. It's like, well, how many times do we have to play it? And I'm sort of with them on that. Anyway, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed it. This was something different for me, and my idea of sustained talking for any length of time is pretty ordinary. I say a lot. So thank you in any case for sticking around. If you did, please, if you would like, subscribe and share, that'd be great. Please let me know if you like doing this sort of thing, looking at games and breaking them down a bit and seeing how they play. Thanks. See you around.